Do you ever feel like your to-do list just keeps growing and you're never able to actually catch up? It just keeps on mounting. It can feel really chaotic. It can feel really overwhelming. We're not sure where to start, or we try to start here and it ends up messy. And it just feels like everything is overwhelming and chaotic. And the truth is, when it comes to ADHD, this is not just a feeling or in our head. Our life is probably chaotic. We're falling behind on to-do lists. We're not able to keep up with all the things we need to do. Maybe our relationships are strained, or we're always forgetting that thing. And maybe we feel like we're just one checkbox away from getting on top of it. If I could just do that one thing, if I could just not procrastinate, then it will all be better. But the reality is we've never been able to do that. We always feel like we're just hanging on and we just can't get on top of it. And maybe it's because we're dealing with things like procrastination or forgetfulness, or we're having a hard time managing our emotions, or maybe we're focusing on the wrong thing. These are all common symptoms of ADHD. And people often equate this with laziness or not caring. But the truth is, that is absolutely not true. That is false. These are common symptoms of ADHD. And the good news is we can work with them to make it better. But a lot of people don't actually go for help. Maybe they feel embarrassed or ashamed, or they feel like they can just handle it themselves. But when we don't get the help that we could for our ADHD, things often become a lot worse. Things do fall apart. We do fall behind at work and our jobs become in jeopardy. Maybe we lose that relationship that we've been working hard to maintain. There's a very real cost to not managing our ADHD well. Imagine reducing procrastination. Imagine improving our memory and reducing forgetfulness. Imagine being able to regulate our emotions just a bit better. And imagine for a moment we actually get on top of our to-do list and don't feel like we're barely hanging on. And the really cool part is this doesn't have to stay imaginary. This can become a part of your lived experience. My name is Matt Ryan. I'm the therapist and owner at PRGRS Therapy, and we specialize in helping adults with ADHD. And we have helped a ton of adults manage their ADHD effectively, leading to improved lives, better organization, less procrastination, actually getting on top of the things they need to do, not feeling so overwhelmed. Our approach is multifaceted. Now, when it comes to ADHD, there are a couple of things we need to consider. Number one, we have the skill-based element, right? So there are practical skills and tools that we need to learn to improve our executive functions. Now, our executive functions are largely impacted by ADHD, right? This is where procrastination comes in, or lack of focus, forgetfulness, that kind of thing. And we need skills to manage those well, to improve those well, right? Now, the other thing that we need to manage is the emotional side of things that comes with ADHD. So a lot of folks deal with guilt and shame and embarrassment. And as licensed therapists, we are well equipped to process through emotions. And we blend that together. We have an approach that combines both practical and actionable skills and tools for ADHD with the processing of deeper emotions and the deeper layers that are impacted by ADHD as well. And we have found that with this approach, which encompasses the entire person, not just one element of who they are or one part of their life, we're able to do some really great work with folks and have them feeling, and not just feeling, but feeling better and also doing better in their day-to-day life. And just to get a little bit more specific, you might be wondering where we're drawing our interventions from. So we're going to draw from evidence-based practices. One of the main ones is going to be called dialectical behavior therapy. Research has shown this to be effective for managing ADHD. We'll draw a bit from CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy. We'll draw a little bit from ACT, or acceptance and commitment therapy, and we'll draw from other evidence-based practices as well. But it's really important to know that we're using evidence-based practices when it comes to managing ADHD. We are all licensed therapists at the practice, and we really do hold our work to a very, very high standard. And it's also important to know that in our practice, we take continuing education and training very seriously. Everyone who joins the practice as a licensed therapist gets trained in ADHD. And so for the most part, no matter who you see in the practice, you'll get the same approach and flavor of therapy. And although we have a home base on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, we're able to see any client who prefers virtually. So then what does ADHD therapy look like at your practice from start to finish? Well, the first thing would be to set up an initial free phone consultation. That is an entirely free, no commitment necessary phone call that usually occurs with either myself or one of the other supervisors in the practice. That's where we'll get to know a little bit more about you and what you're looking for. We can tell you a bit more about our practice and our approach, coach. You can ask questions, we'll ask you some questions, and we'll determine together whether or not we're a good fit. And then from there, you'll be set up with an intake. This is our first session, but I do look at it as foundational. We'll ask you a lot of questions, we'll get to know your history, we'll talk about your goals, and we'll really do a lot of information gathering. We'll also create a treatment plan during that session or in the next session following the intake. A treatment plan is simply goals and objectives that we have for treatment moving forward, right? We all want to have some sort of path that we're heading down, and the treatment plan outlines that path. Although that can change and we can be flexible around that, we do want to at least start with some sort of direction that we're headed in. And then from there, we hit the ground running with our sessions, which are typically once per week for an hour. You might be wondering if we take insurance, and yes, we do. At the moment, we are in network with Cigna and Aetna. You can check our website or down below for the most up-to-date information. We're also happy to verify your insurance for you before you are seen. We also are partnered with a platform that can help with out-of-network benefits. For many of our clients who are not in network with, we are processing out-of-network benefits on their behalf so they don't have to manage with the insurance company. And some of them are even being reimbursed up to 85% of the session, even with out-of-network benefits. We're happy to talk with you about that and to work with you and to process all of that for you. We never want anyone to make a commitment or have to be seen before they feel totally comfortable, both with the practice and also the insurance and financial component as well. So if you're interested in working with us for ADHD therapy, we would love to hear from you. There's a button down below. You can click that and schedule a free consultation. If you prefer to email us and you have some questions, there's also a button for that as well. So feel free to schedule a free consultation or ask us any questions you might have. We would love to help you, love to answer those questions. We do look forward to hearing from you.